Hey, before we really get rolling with this video, I just thought I'd let you know. There's going to be some cuts kind of back and forth to different parts of the game as I was playing through it. Just know that the main reason for that is that I, recorded different bits at different times because, at least mostly because, partway through the stream in which I initially recorded this review footage, I actually had the developer of Deckception hop into the stream chat, answer some questions, and talk about the game in a little bit greater depth, including differences between the demo version and the full game. So, that's kind of a large part of the reason why it's going to cut back and forth some. There were also certain things that I wanted to show a bit more of as I progressed. Still didn't really have the time to get to everything, but I thought I would show you as much as I reasonably could to give you a better sense of the game. I'm also going to have some kind of adjusted thoughts and or things to talk about at the end of the video, so yeah. Just thought I'd put that out there at the, at the start before we really get rolling with things. So anyway, on with the review. What's up, cool people? My name's Matt. Welcome to another game review. Or, in this case, a game demo review. So this time I'm looking at this game here called Deckception, which is, unsurprisingly, deck-related. It's also dice-related. And, yeah, you could get the controls pulled up at pretty much any given time. But long story short, what this game is, it's like if you combine poker and Yahtzee and use the combination of those to move your way through the dungeons or against the enemies in this game. Enemies which are pretty much nothing but a health bar and some damage that they deal. There's no actual, physical representation other than that. Given that this is a demo, apparently there's some stuff that is not available from the start screen. Yeah, so let me hit play. I'm gonna start a new game, if I can. There we go. Oh. Hold up. I don't remember. Reach floor 50 to unlock the first 4 classes. Okay. Now, right off the bat, major issue with this game. And it's not showing it because this is not the first time I'm playing the game. But, also, I'm going to move my webcam up here so it's not really covering anything. That just shows which floor I'm on, which isn't really a big deal. Bit of an issue with kind of learning the game. They give you a major, 18 on-screen pages worth of text and visuals to read the first time you boot up the game. And that's it. That's pretty much all of a tutorial that you get. You can access information on, the different hands, so to speak, of cards and dice and whatnot. But in terms of other features of the game, that's it. They might show you the controls with escape, yeah. And the card hands if you press I. But in terms of, the different color meanings and what happens in between each floor and different things like that, that's all you get for a tutorial. So, I sincerely hope that that gets fixed in the full release, where you can bring up that information at other moments, because otherwise, this is a severely difficult game to try and just... Basically, you'd have to play through it and learn most of it through experience Otherwise, you don't stand a chance of understanding half of the stuff that happens eventually. You know, the real kind of progression elements to it, which, in the long term, are the most important parts. So, yeah, major issue with that, in my opinion. Otherwise, it's a pretty fun game, if you ask me. But, I can't just ignore that and pretend that a lot of people are going to be okay with that. So, anyway, now on to the actual gameplay. So, the dice part of this, you pretty much just pick whichever ones that you want. Similar to Yahtzee, you know, you got certain things that you can get here with straights, full houses, 4 or 5 of a kind, different things like that. And those will give you multipliers to the damage or whatever is then calculated with the cards here on the left side. Also, like Yahtzee, you get, well, maybe slightly more than Yahtzee. Yahtzee gives you 2 rerolls for a total of 3. This gives you 3 rerolls per round. So I'm going to keep the 5s and reroll the other 2. Okay, there's another 5. And nope. Okay, well. And then to lock it in, you have to press play there. But I'll wait on that. So now, with the cards, trying to remember if... Okay, yeah. So you can go... I think you pretty much use... At least on keyboard, you use A and D to go through the cards that you got here. I'm pretty sure W puts them out onto the, like, field there, so to speak. Also, this game apparently can be 1 or 2 players. If you're playing it with 2 players, basically each person, I think, is supposed to control each side of, you know, the board here. Like, one side would be in control of the cards, the other person handling the other side would be in control of the dice, if I'm remembering right. Okay. But yeah, so you pretty much use your mouse for the dice side of it, keyboard for the cards. I'm debating on whether or not to keep the 9 here. Yeah, you know what? Just in case set like a 6 and 7 pop up, I'll do that. Now I'm trying to remember, how do I hang on. Discard cards is R. Okay. So that'll give you some new cards, but you only have a certain number of discards and a certain number of hands each round in order to basically get this health bar all the way down and not die to the attack that you take. Okay, see, there's another 8. Oh, but there's also a 7 there. Actually, hold up. If I keep the 7 and ditch one of these 10s and take the jack, I've got a straight. So then I can play that. I think you press P to play the hand. Yeah. And it'll show you the totals of the different colors here. Red is supposed to be attack. Purple is magic, which is also kind of damage dealing. Blue is shield. Green is health. So, especially in order to get through some of the later levels, it feels like you almost have to focus primarily on red and purple, because those are the only ones that actually deal the damage. And if you don't deal enough damage within 3 hands, now 2 because I played 1, that's it. You lose that floor, and you either lose the game entirely and have to restart, or you lose like a life, which you get, I think, 2 extra lives each attempt. So yeah, that's something else that I'm kind of looking at this game and I'm like, okay, it seems a little pointless to have so much of the blue and the green, because they don't deal damage. And later on, you end up needing to deal a lot of damage to even have a chance at winning. But anyway, so, now that I've played that, we've got the numbers here. The dice are going to multiply these values here and how much they all do. So if I hit play, we got times 50 there because of the 4 5s being 20, but then also for having 4 of a kind gives those a 2.5 times multiplier. So the overall multiplier is 50 to all of this stuff. We defeated that enemy pretty easily, but that's just floor 1. We also got shields up here, but again, that seems barely relevant later on. Also, I'm realizing this right up in here, the last part of which you can't really see because of my webcam, kind of shows you how many floors you have left until the next, like, boss enemy. So that's the real basic stuff of how each round goes. I'm going to hit next, which is also currently behind my webcam. And that takes you to a shop. In between rounds, you can buy new cards, new stat boosts, or extras to card or dice multipliers. Or you can buy colors of dice, which will then give an extra boost to the cards of that color. In terms of dice colors, red or purple is mostly what you want to go for, in my opinion. I'm gonna go with red just because I've had purple before when I've played this. I could also add more max block, but I'd rather save that money for later. So, oh yeah, you can also view your deck, which you can also eventually, like, swap out cards. But I think you have to have at least 52. Oh yeah, and then you get current dice info there. Attack dice means they go with the red. Times 2 multiplier on all attack cards. And what is this? I don't remember seeing this before or doing much with it. Okay, so I'm being told officially that the repeat floor reward is for players who have failed a run before. And they're saying when you skip floors that you've been to in the past, you get a little money reward for it. That adds some extra, you know, replayability, makes it probably easier to get farther after multiple runs. Which is a good thing to have in a game like this, that apparently goes past, or at least up to, level 250, as far as we've seen. Yeah, right now that doesn't really do anything for me because I started a new game and have not failed a run as of yet. But that would involve this stuff right here. I'm not sure what's up with that. I'm gonna go hit this next floor button. Okay, so I'm seeing 3 of a kind with the dice here. Part of the issue with that is that they're lower value, and the lower values of the dice also give lower multipliers. But it'd be better to do that and get, like, a good set of them than to try and go for high dice, get no particular set of any kind, and then not really get any kind of extra multiplier to that. So So I'm going to re-roll these. Got another 2. Okay. We'll just see if I can get one last 2 here. Nope. Alright, but we still got the 4 of a kind bonus. So that's going to be a total multiplier of 20, which still isn't bad. Now for the cards. So let's see here. I'm seeing Jack, 10, oh wait, 9, Queen. They don't necessarily have to be in order of the hand you're trying to play here. So then pretty much if I get a King or an 8, I'm set for that. And that is neither. Okay, still got a handful of discards. Oh, hey, look at that, a king. Boom. Okay. Seems decent enough. I will play that. And another one-turn victory there. It's definitely not going to be that way the whole time, though. Now, another thing that I have come to realize that is probably explained in the tutorial screens, but I honestly couldn't figure out. Or like, because I didn't read those real thoroughly or retain all the information, I didn't realize that trying to go back and buy any multiple of the same colored dice doesn't seem to matter. It makes, like, no difference at all, as far as I can tell. Not that I could right now, but it seems to make no difference as far as I can tell. It's not until after you get to, like, floor 10 or something like that, after you get past a certain number of floors, then some of this stuff starts changing a little bit. And you might get, like, multicolored dice, or different things like that. Okay, so now that I'm past level 20, some of these dice that are showing up are ones that will actually, like, multiply more than one kind of card. Like, this one does magic and attack, which would be absolutely amazing if I could afford it right now. We'll save the money and keep moving along. Maybe I can cruise through some of these floors and get to where some things finally change, maybe. I want to at least get through floor 5, I think, as I'm reviewing this. Holy cow, that jumped up quite a bit. So, now I'll show what happens when you get more cards for your deck and how you can, like, exchange those around and stuff like that. I'm gonna aim to get more purples and reds. I'll just stick with 2 of them for now. So then I think if I view the deck, I can get rid of, let's say, the 2 of green and, well, okay, hang on. I reached floor 25. Jeez. Okay. They locked that much further along. Okay, so couple more things. First off, when it comes to these cards and whatnot, so the ones that come with your base deck that don't have any kind of border or anything like that, those are just those values, nothing special about them. The ones that you can then buy later will come with these borders around the edges and whatnot. Those have a double multiplier just baked into the card itself. And then these extra fancy ones, like this 10 here, and maybe one of these queens, I don't know. But definitely like this 10 here, and the ace, those get a triple multiplier, which is why they're also twice as expensive. But another thing to note, I am now, since I've passed floor 25, I am now able to remove cards from the deck. You only get one removal move per floor. But you can pick multiple cards at one time to remove if you so desire. However, the cost adds up quickly. So it honestly might be a good idea to just, like, pick one card each floor to remove from your deck, so that you're not spending a bunch of money all at once just removing cards. So if I hit remove card now, that blue 2 is no longer in the deck. That narrows things down a bit so you can get more of the cards that you actually want. So it seems like they've been adding some stuff, or at least changing some features since the last time I played, and pushing that to further floors. This one's a little more difficult. Note, it says strong there. Also has, like, an extra 2/3 the health of the previous floors. 6, 5, 4, 3 for the dice. Hopefully we get a 2. I hate trying to bank on a straight with the dice, but you see, that's where I start considering, okay, maybe do I keep a pair of the 6s and just move along? One more roll. Okay. So now we got a pair of 4s. I'll ditch the 3 and the 5, I think. Give me some options for a 3 of a kind, or 2 pair, or a full house, or something. Okay, well, I get 3 of a kind. Not the worst thing. What is looking bad are these cards over here. Good grief. I guess... I mean, I could keep the pair of 2s, but that's pretty low value there. But that doesn't mean I have to keep them at the end. Oh, hello. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna take these other purple ones, ditch the 2, and go for a flush. Okay. And we'll play that. Do the dice. So that did a grand total of about 1,000 damage. So I think now I hit next and it starts round 2, or hand 2, I guess you could say, of this matchup here. Ugh. All low dice. I mean, I might keep the 4, but that's about it. Yeah. I could try to go for a straight. I just hate trying to bank on a straight for the dice, because, like, it leaves me with nothing if I don't get the straight. So, as I've been slowly replacing the 6s. Okay, well, whatever. Got a pair of 6s at least. Now for the cards over here, I do see... okay, so I could do the pair of queens. I am also 3 cards into a red card flush. So that's a possibility. Jeez! And then it gives me this. Ooh, hold up. 3 of a kind also wouldn't be a terrible thing to try and roll with. Okay. If I ditch the... Just not sure if I maybe want to keep the queen in case that gets paired up. Or I could keep going for the red card flush. Actually, tell you what. Yeah, the flush would be significantly better in terms of multipliers. Alright. Well, phooey. Come on. There we go, finally, jeez. Much better. Okay, play that. 215 over here. Multiplied by 12. Hooray, we win. Okay. I'll take that queen for sure. Although I could have paid 100 for to add an extra discard. Man, that would have been nice. Oh well, too late. Didn't think of that. So, yeah. As you keep progressing, you know, if you buy some of these things, those start to kind of add up. Eventually you get to where there are kind of better dice, and you can eventually swap out some of the cards in your deck, so you've got a higher chance of the ones you actually want, and just all sorts of other things like that. Aside from that, it pretty much looks the same the whole way through. Oh, hello, we got a full house of red dice right off the bat here. And there we go, red flush. And with it getting an extra bonus from the red dice, that should do quite a lot. Kablam. 8,000 damage in one hand. But I don't know if there's really too much else to show regarding this game, and I'm realizing this has already gone on quite a while. I'll add an extra discard here, just cause. But, so, overall thoughts on the game. I definitely like the concept. I do think there are some improvements to be made with it. But, yeah, solid idea for sure. And if they fix the tutorial so that you can access that information later, or at least access it more easily later, because I can't seem to figure it out, then I just, you know, that would help a lot. And then having something, just some sort of more use for the blue and green cards. Because, or even like, instead of that, give you more health, and then maybe at the end, make it so that if you have more health than the enemy, you still win, rather than, oh, you didn't beat them in 3 hands, you lose. So, yeah, those are my major marks against the game's current state. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, I like the concept, and I think it would be a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Just make it easier to find the tutorial info so people can figure out what they need to know when they need to know it, rather than having it shoved all at the beginning. And then, like, do something else with the requirements for winning or losing a given floor. But that's all I got in terms of, like, review, thoughts, and things like that. So in its current state, I really don't think I could give this any more than a 6, just because, a 6 out of 10 rating, just because of those flaws being, like, pretty severe in my mind. It takes away a lot from the overall experience, in my opinion. Okay, a little bit of further clarification for those who might want to know. The block amount does not stay there between rounds, but whatever your health is does. Okay, so one other thing to note, at least in these early levels. Those of you who are poker players, you might note, first of all, 5 of a kind is a thing here, and that's because of the ability to, like, swap out cards. But also, straight flush is not mentioned in the multiplier list. There are some hand multipliers not shown to you in the info screen. May update that later. Okay, so there's the official word. So yeah, we were getting 7 cards down here before, but then when I increased the hand size, we're getting 8. Okay, so now I'm seeing even more dice that have, like, special effects and other abilities and stuff, too, on top of multipliers for the cards. So, like, this... hang on. So this leech dice here gives you life steal in addition to a 2x multiplier on magic cards. So, double damage on purple, and then presumably any damage you deal. I'm not 100% sure what the max lifesteal means, but some way or another, probably from dealing damage, you gain life just from that. So yeah, there's other effects and abilities and things like that these dice can have later on too. Okay, so quick note from the dev. The demo, which I am playing, is not much different from the full game. But the demo only goes up to floor 100, whereas the full game goes infinitely, in essence. So any of that stuff that was said or mentioned about, you know, getting past floor 250 is not doable in the demo. But in the main game that is doable. Which the full release is $4.99, games only on Steam. Okay. Full game has 20 levels of dice and 10 levels of cards, while the demo only has about 5 of each. Okay, so that... But things like that are to be expected when comparing a demo to a full release. So it's not like I think any worse of it for that. Oh yeah, so another quick note about differences between the full release and the demo. The full release has leaderboards. So you can, I guess, compare how far you manage to make it with other players. If you know, go on Steam and buy the full release instead of just playing the demo like I am. And there's also other classes available, I'm being told. So, yeah, multiple things in the full release that aren't in the demo that if you like the demo, it might be worth paying, you know, the $4.99 to get the full release so that you've got that much more that you could do. Okay, so one other major thing that I forgot to mention that I want to try and make sure that I do with my game reviews moving forward is talking about how family-friendly the game is. And honestly, like, understanding it, especially the rules, can be a little tricky. So, maybe wouldn't recommend it for younger kids because of that. But otherwise, like, there's no questionable content or anything like that. It's not even simulated gambling because you're not betting anything. You just earn money, spend it in a shop throughout the game, and that's all the transaction there is. Otherwise, it's just a luck-based game. So, pretty fine on that scale. And then, overall, it's a little hard to judge off of just the first playthrough. So, maybe some of my initial thoughts on it were, you know, that it's a little bit lower quality than it actually is. I still think the whole thing with the instructions in the tutorial and all that being so heavily front-loaded is a bit of an issue. Could leave a whole lot of things kind of, questionable or unanswered or whatever, or like people struggling to know what's going on with it later on when they actually encounter some of the things that are explained right from the beginning and don't even show up until like 10, 25, or even other levels later. And then also kind of the issue with just flat out losing a particular battle floor thing if you just don't get enough damage in. I'm not sure I like that idea either, because it makes the blocking and healing cards much less useful. They do have some use later on, don't get me wrong, but really there's no point in my mind in focusing on anything other than attack / magic. Basically, ways to deal damage. So, like, I'm still not sure I want to rate it too much higher than I initially thought. Definitely more toward the 6 that I mentioned, maybe even 6.5 for the scale out of 10. Basically, it needs to be a little better balanced in that way to, like, kind of justify some of the card types and different features and things like that. And then there's the whole tutorial thing, like I mentioned. Otherwise, the concept is fine. The gameplay is kind of fun. Maybe a little repetitive as well, but, like, I don't really have any other glaring issues with it. So anyway, okay. That's all of my further thoughts laid out there. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Keep in mind this is just talking about the demo, not the full release of the game. There's more stuff in the full release. So, it's a little bit better. It does cost $4.99 in the Steam store to buy the full release, but it seems like there's enough that's there compared to the demo that it would be worth it if you like the demo. So anyway, like the video if you enjoyed it. Share with others if you think they would too. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss future video releases. Look down in the description for info on social media pages and links to find and follow those. Like if you want to join the Discord server and talk about stuff in between, maybe even, talk about some of the ideas that I have or game suggestions or different things like that. If you want to help me out financially or just, like, support with some, benefits, I've got a supporter page over on Ko-fi.com. I'm still not sure how to pronounce it. But anyway, I've got a supporter page that's also linked in the description. And down below all that, leave your comments with any thoughts that you have. Is there anything that I, like, majorly overlooked that is a key part of the game that makes it a whole lot better or worse or anything like that? Do you have any suggestions for other games to play or review or anything like that? Let me know down below. So that's all I've got. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon for another video. But whatever the case is, till next time, stay cool, people.